Have you ever heard of the Bermuda Triangle? Of course, you have. But what about its lesser known, perhaps even spookier cousin on land? Welcome to the Bennington Triangle, a mysterious patch of wilderness in southwestern Vermont that has been the site of at least 5, and possibly more, baffling disappearances. Between 1945 and 1950, a series of strange events unfolded here, centered around Glastenbury Mountain. These weren't just cases of hikers getting lost. These were disappearances that defied all logical explanation, leaving behind no clues, no bodies, and a trail of unanswered questions that still haunt investigators and locals to this day. Our story begins in November 1945 with Mitty Rivers. At 74 years old, Mitty was an experienced woodsman and hunting guide. He knew this area like the back of his hand. On November 12th, he was leading a group of 4 hunters up the mountain. As they were returning to camp, Mitty got slightly ahead of the group and then he was gone. The other hunters said he was in sight one moment and vanished the next. They called out for him, but only silence answered. An extensive search was launched immediately. Hundreds of volunteers, along with the army, scoured the area. They searched for weeks, but found nothing. Not a footprint, not a dropped piece of equipment, not even the single rifle shell he was carrying. It was as if Mitty Rivers had simply evaporated into the cold mountain air. Just over a year later, in December 1946, the Triangle claimed its next victim. Paula Welden, an 18-year-old sophomore at Bennington College, decided to go for a hike on the long trail, which runs right through the heart of the Bennington Triangle. She was seen by several people, including a man who gave her directions. She was wearing a bright red coat, which should have made her easy to spot, but after she rounded a bend in the trail, she was never seen again. The search for Paula Welden was one of the largest in Vermont's history. The college closed down, and students and faculty joined the search. The FBI was called in. They investigated every lead, from theories she ran away to Canada to foul play. But just like with Mitty Rivers, the search turned up absolutely nothing. No body, no clothing, no clues. The case grew so cold and frustrating that it led to the creation of the Vermont State Police, as local law enforcement was simply not equipped to handle a disappearance of this scale. 3 years to the day after Paula Welden vanished, in December 1949, the mountains seemed to call again. This time, it was a veteran named James Tedford. He was on a bus, heading home to the Bennington soldiers' home. Witnesses saw him on the bus, asleep in his seat. His luggage was in the overhead rack. The bus made its scheduled stops, but when it arrived at its final destination in Bennington, James Tedford was gone. His belongings were still on the rack, and an open bus timetable lay on his empty seat. He had vanished from a moving bus, with 14 other passengers who saw nothing. The road the bus traveled on cuts directly through the Bennington Triangle. How could a man disappear from a moving vehicle without anyone noticing? It's a riddle that remains unsolved. Less than a year later, in October 1950, the disappearances took an even stranger turn. 8-year-old Paul Jepson vanished from the family farm, which was located on the edge of the Glastenbury wilderness. His mother, a pig farmer, left him playing happily near the pigsty while she fed the animals. She was gone for no more than an hour. When she returned, Paul was gone. Bloodhounds were brought in, and they were able to follow Paul S., sent along a local road for a short distance before the trail went completely cold, as if he'd been picked up by a vehicle. But why would a little boy wander out onto the road? And who would have taken him? The search party, which included hundreds of volunteers, found no trace of the boy. His father later told a chilling story, claiming that a few weeks before Paul disappeared, the boy had told him that the mountain would call to him. Just 16 days after Paul Jepson disappeared, the final and perhaps most bizarre case occurred. 53-year-old Frida Langer was hiking with her cousin on the long trail, not far from where Paula Welden had vanished. She slipped and fell into a stream, getting her clothes wet. She told her cousin she was going to go back to their campsite to change and would meet him back at the spot in a little while. Her cousin waited, but she never returned. When he went back to the campsite, he found she'd never made it. Another massive search was launched, involving planes, helicopters, and over 300 searchers. For months, nothing was found. Then, 7 months later, in May 1951, Frida Langer's body was discovered, but the location of the discovery only deepened the mystery. Her remains were found in an open field near the Somerset Reservoir, an area that had been searched extensively and repeatedly in the months prior. How could hundreds of searchers have missed her body in an open field? And stranger still, the condition of the remains was not consistent with having been exposed to the harsh Vermont winter for 7 months. The state of decomposition suggested she had died much more recently. The cause of death could not be determined. And then, as suddenly as they began, the disappearances stopped. 5 people gone in 5 years, all within this small, rugged patch of Vermont. So what happened to them? Theories abound, ranging from the plausible to the paranormal. The most logical explanation points to the treacherous nature of the terrain itself. Glastenbury Mountain is known for its rugged landscape, sudden weather changes, and abandoned logging roads and mine shafts that could easily trap an unsuspecting hiker. It's possible these were all just tragic, unrelated accidents, and the wilderness simply reclaimed them. A serial killer has also been proposed, a predator lying in wait along the trails, but the lack of any evidence, bodies, or a consistent method makes this theory difficult to prove. Then we get to the more unusual explanations. Local legends from Native American tribes, particularly the Abenaki, speak of the area as cursed. They believed it to be a place where the 4 winds meet, and that an enchanted stone on the mountain would swallow anyone who stepped on it. They used the land for burial, but refused to live there. Others have pointed to UFOs and alien abductions, citing strange lights often seen in the sky over the mountain. Could these people have been taken by extraterrestrial visitors? Another popular theory involves a creature known to cryptozoologists as the Bennington black cat or the Glastenbury cat, a mysterious, oversized panther-like creature said to roam the woods. While no definitive proof exists, some believe it could be responsible. And what about the strange energy of the place itself? Some paranormal investigators suggest the area is a window or a portal to another dimension, a place where the veil between worlds is thin, allowing people to slip through. This might explain the sudden, traceless nature of the disappearances. One moment here, the next somewhere else entirely. After Frida Langer's body was found, the strange events in the Bennington Triangle seemed to cease. The town of Glastenbury, once a bustling logging community, is now a ghost town, its population having dwindled to single digits before it was officially unincorporated. The forest has reclaimed the buildings, and the mountain stands silent, holding its secrets. Were these 5 disappearances a string of tragic coincidences, magnified by small-town folklore? Or is there something truly unnatural at work in the wilderness of southwestern Vermont? The Bennington Triangle remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. A chilling reminder that there are still places on the map where people can simply walk in and never walk out. What do you think happened? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more mysteries. Stay curious and stay safe out there.